Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing tonight? I know it's not my regular night, and I know I didn't go live last week, but we're here, okay? Welcome to my page. My name is Michaela from Paint Fixation in Middleburg, Florida. Welcome. When you come on, please say hi. Let me know where you're from, and let me know if you're new to the page, new to Dixie Belle, what projects you're working on, etc. Okay, I'm just pinning my information in the comments so that if you guys want to go to my website or to my Facebook, hey Kristen, you can do so. So tonight I am going to show you a little bit about Sea Spray. Sea Spray is a additive from Dixie Belle. It's a paint additive. It's right here. Okay, and I'm just going to give you I'm going to show you how to mix it, show you the different things you can do with it. We're just going to do a couple simple things tonight, nothing too big or major, but Kristen, yay! I just wanted to show you some ways you can use it that you might not know, okay? It can be your friend in a lot of ways, and it can be a lot of fun too. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so get some water. So the first thing that I'm going to do is show you how I did a raised stencil. Now, normally we would use Dixie Belle mud to make a raised stencil, but what if you don't have white to make a color? Or what if all you have is brown or black? So with the Sea Spray, you can make the raised stencil in any color that you can imagine, okay? I did this one with the metallic, okay? It loses a little, thank you, Kristen. It loses a little tiny bit of the metallic when you use it with Sea Spray, but not too bad. Let me turn my phone on just so I can see comments, because once they start scrolling, I can't see them anymore. And let me turn my volume down so we don't hear me twice. So once is enough, right? All right, hang on. Let me pull it up. Okay, there we go. Hey. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, here we go. Alrighty, let me set that right there. Hi, Andrea. Oops, this went to fall. Uh-oh, there's a cat in here. Hang on one second. He must have scooched in when I went to get my water. Come here, you little stinker. Y'all want to say hello? This is Beans, and he's not happy right now because I'm kicking him out. You are not allowed in here. Get. Go on. That's what I get for leaving the door cracked when I go get water. Oh my goodness. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just paint my base coat, and I'm using rustic red for that. I'm just going to put this in here. And I don't need very much. I'm just going to use an artist brush to put it on here. And I'm just going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use a little reindeer for this. So when you guys come on, say hi. Let me know how you're doing. We are just painting today. This is Dixie Belle's Rustic Red. It's a really pretty red. I like it a lot. It's not as orangey as the Rusty Nail. It's a little bit cooler than the Rusty Nail. And these are just some blocks that I cut out with my chop saw. Hi Aunt Kate. I just get, this is a 4x1, a 1x4, 4x1. I sound like a girl. A 1x4. And I just cut them in 4-inch blocks. And I'm going to be making some Scrabble tiles with these. I've got some ideas on how to do it. I'm trying to think of something a little bit different than what we see everywhere. So when I do that, maybe I'll do that Wednesday night on my regular live. And I am sorry for not being here last week, guys. Hey, Yvonne, you're not late. I'm just coming on here on a Monday. Hey, Dawn. I did not come live last week. Like I've told y'all many times in the past, my family is always first, and I just haven't been able to come on. That's just all there is to it. So I do apologize, but I know that you guys are cool with that because you've told me that in the past, that you're perfectly fine with me putting the family first. And I have water here somewhere. What do I do with it? to put this in. I always put my brushes in water when I'm done with them so that the paint doesn't get dry. But we have scrubby soap if it does. Scrubby soap works great. Okay, so I'm just going to dry this with my blow dryer just really quick. Hi, Janet. Doesn't take long. I'm laughing at the comments. Okay, feels dry. Okay, so I chose this guy here to do. These are some stencils that I got from Doris. They come in a pack like this. They are paper, but they're adhesive, and I'm really kind of digging it. Hi, Jason. We're just having fun tonight. I am a host on the Dixie Belle Retailers page this week, and we are doing sea spray. And so I wanted to do a video on my page because I asked them to do a video on their page. I'm trying to encourage the other retailers to go live, and so I figure I better put my money where my mouth is. So this is the little, I'm going to use this guy, and I've already got some mixed, but I'm going to show y'all how I mix my sea spray in just a minute. Okay, we're going to do this first. I'm going to show you how to do a raised stencil without having to use the Dixie Belle mud. Okay, this is a huge bag, guys. This goes a very long way. I've been a retailer for about 2.5 years, and I've used a full bag of this. And you guys know I've used quite a bit of this. I've done vases with this, which I'm going to show y'all tonight. I'm going to show you how to take your clear vases to more of a pottery look. I just threw that one together real quick. It's not exactly the colors that I would have liked, but it is what it is. Okay, and I got these popsicle sticks, these big ones. I've already got it mixed up, and I want to show you the two different. So both of these colors have sea spray in them. Do you see the difference in the texture? So the gold is much chunkier, and then the Yankee blue is a lot creamier. And I'm going to show you later how to mix it. That's the nice thing about the sea spray is because it's already in powder form, you have full control over how thick you want it to be or how creamy you want it to be. So I'm just going to scoop this out. And I'm just going, this is adhesive, so I've got it stuck on here. So I'm just going to run it across the stencil until I can't see any of the paint underneath. I'm going to have to mix some more of the gold to do the vase, I believe, so I'll show y'all how. There's two ways I do it. Oops, I might have some bleed through. Shoot, it came up. That's all right. I did one earlier and I didn't like it, so I just scraped all of it off and started over again. Okay. And you can put this on as thick as you want, or you can scrape it off like this. Can y'all see what I'm doing? And make it thinner. It's really all in how you want to do it. But I'm going to leave it a little chunky in some places, like that. And I want to save it, so I don't want to lose too much of it. And lift. So now I have some little raised areas, and this I will wipe off. I'm just going to wipe a little bit of it. They are paper, but if I'm gentle with them, I can get more uses out of these. You know I'm frugal, so I get as many uses out of these as I can. No angry faces allowed. Uh-oh. Did somebody send me an angry face? Okay, I know that Facebook has been doing some weird things with the emojis. But let me just let y'all know something, and it's okay if you don't like something that you see. If you feel like you need to send me a scary face or angry face, that is your prerogative. That is your freedom. But if it's an accident, like if you hit it on the wrong, if you hit it accidentally or whatever, I really would like for you to go back and replace it. You can replace it with another one because it works against the algorithm. So if you put an emoji in someone's comment, it doesn't affect me. But if you hit the, you know where you hit the thumbs up or the heart button for me, hi Sherry, and then there's a little angry face. If you hit that angry face on the main comment, on your own comment, it does affect the algorithm. Now, if you want it to be there and you're upset with me or something, that's fine. I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. But if it was an accident, please go back and fix it. Okay, so this is my little reindeer. He's not quite even. He's going off the side there. But I'm going to show you. So right here, right on this little edge right here on the front, he's got a little bit too much going on there. So I'm going to just take this brush. I've got some water on it. And I'm just going to clean it up very easily. And if for some reason I couldn't get this off, I can always go back with the red. Isn't it cute? So I'm going to do like this. Actually, I'm going to grab some of this red with this brush, and I'm just going to paint around it like that. See that? Can y'all see how that's just cleaned that right up his little belly? So I just take a little bit of the rustic red where there's a little bit of bleed through. I'm not the best stenciler. I'll be the first one to admit that. I'm not the best, but I don't mind trying. I don't know who it was, Yvonne. Okay, but I will tell you, Facebook's weird. So like, I'll be watching a video and all of a sudden all these hearts with my face will go up and I'm like, I haven't touched anything. What's the reindeer's name? Randy. Randy the reindeer. So there's the Randy, okay? And you see how it's raised? You see that? So I could go back and I could wait for this to dry and I could dry brush another color over the top. Thank you, Yvonne. I could dry brush another color over the top of it. I'm going to show you on here how to do that. So now we have Gobble Till You Wobble and a little reindeer. And I kind of like this color combination. This, by the way, is Gold Digger, okay? I mixed the Gold Digger Moonshine with a sea spray. All right, I'm going to put this over here. So that's one way you can use sea spray. Mix it with any color that you want and stencil with it, okay? And also, if you didn't want a raised stencil, you could, if you just wanted it not as thick as this, you can just mix it less. I know, Jason, I'm trying to get better at it too, but I tell you, apparently I don't have very much patience. I'm starting to figure that one out. Okay, so the other thing that you can do is something like this. Do you see that texture on here? And again, I did this very quickly, but it's pretty dry. So y'all seen in the past videos where I've had problems with veneer on, say, my drawer fronts, and I've used a raised stencil to kind of hide it. It still enhances the piece and it makes it one of a kind, but I used Dixie Belle mud on the last two that I did, and then I painted the whole thing one color because it's very difficult to go back when you're using the mud and then going through and coloring each little part of your design. So I painted it, and then I just did like a gilding wax on top. So that's one way that you can hide imperfections in your piece. Another way to hide imperfections is with texture, okay? So let's pretend that this is a drawer front. So this is rustic red mixed with the sea spray chunky, okay? And I don't have the little thing, but I'm going to show y'all how to mix it, okay? I promise. I know I keep saying that, but I am. I used all of it. So I used my fridge tip because it's nice and stiff, and I pounced it. First I painted it on, then pounced it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this with some fluff, okay? And I'm going to well, you could do it two ways. I'm going to show you one way and then another way, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush over it all my nice dry brushes are wet, so I'm going to use this. This is just a premium chip brush. I like the other chip brushes better, like this, but this one's still wet. Okay, so I'm going to take a little teeny bit of my fluff. I'm going to start out with dry brushing, and then I'm going to show you something else you can do. Okay, so I'm going to take it and pounce it off so we have very little paint. And then I'm just going to dry brush over the top of the sea spray. So, oops. So this is one way you can do it. And you can leave it just with the red and just have texture, okay? Or you can hit it with some alternate color and just highlight it like that. Okay, that's one thing you can do. It's just a dry brush. Now I'm going to paint it with the fluff. Now I'm going to admit I have not done this technique before, so we are doing this together. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's how we learn, and that's why I'm using a board. I always like to do things when I'm doing something new. I like to practice on smaller pieces instead of furniture because, well, I would rather do a bunch of it on here than on a piece of furniture. I got a hair right there, probably from that darn cat. They're not allowed in here. The animals aren't allowed in here, but I left the door halfway cracked, and he bolted in here. He likes to come in here because he knows he's not supposed to be in here. Okay. All right, so I've got my fluff on here. Now I'm going to hit it with a hairdryer real quick. I'm going to dry it. Now, this should give a little bit different look than what we just did. I'm going to use my surf prep. I have a surf prep. I'm just using one of the pads that goes with it. This is a medium, which is like a 180, but I've used this a few times, so it's probably more like a 220. And now I'm just going to sand off the fluff, off the tops. So it's kind of the opposite of dry brushing. So the dry brushing, you give your light colors are going to be on your peaks, and your dark color is going to be more in the cracks. And this is going to be the opposite. Your red will be more on the peaks, and the white is going to be in the cracks. Okay, let me get it dry brushed. Wipe off this dust. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so you see how that looks? Can you see it? Completely different look than dry brushing. So we use the same two colors, but we got two different looks. And I really like the way this looks. So this would look really pretty with caviar underneath it. So you would mix your caviar with your sea spray, put it on chunky, let it dry. Okay, and I'm going to show you the difference between when I say chunky and creamy on the base. Okay, so this is a way we can hide imperfections. You could do it to hide imperfections. You could do it for a decorative finish. You could do this in just areas of your piece of furniture. You could do this on a vase, like we're going to get ready to do this vase. You could do this technique on a vase. You could use it on an ornament to make a different look. This would be really cool on a round ornament using caviar underneath with the fluff on top, and it would kind of give a snowy effect with some shadows. I think that would be really pretty. So that's a second way to do it. So you got raised stencils and hiding imperfections. Now we're going to take this glass vase and we're going to go from clear to more of a stone look. Okay? All right. So I'm going to show you the two ways that I mixed this, because I am going to need a little bit more of the gold, I believe. Now, if you put your paint in first, to me, I get chunkier because I usually don't put enough. I usually put too much of the sea spray in. So it's better to go a little bit at a time and work your way up, because then you can decide if you want it to stay creamy or if you want it to be chunkier. So I'm going to use the Moonshine Metallic. Okay, I'm going to put it in there first because I don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. I don't have much in here, so it doesn't even really need to be stirred because it's just not even an ounce in here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of it in here in my little Dixie cup. Okay. Just a very tiny little bit. And then I'm going to use a very tiny little bit of the sea spray. Now, the directions on sea spray say 2 scoops to an 8-ounce jar of paint, and that will give you kind of a brownie batter consistency. Now, I'm just going to, this is how much I have in here, but I'm not going to be using this much, I don't believe. I'm just going to put maybe half of this. I do want the gold to be chunky because this is 2 different consistencies here. And I'm just going to give it a stir. Okay, so you can see this is about what I want. So I eyeballed it pretty good. So this is the kind of the consistency that I have. This is, I would say this is a little thicker than brownie batter, I guess, depending on the brownie. I know, Yvonne, I've been going to the thrift store and picking these up for like $1. This one was a little bit more because this is a really, this was $2.99. Actually has the, this one was $2.99, but this is a very heavy, like it's almost like a decanter weight to it. Okay, and so the way I applied this was with a bristle brush. I used these. I'm going to just dry this off. I need to get me some more of these little cheapy ones. But first I'm going to use up what I had in here. I'm going to just combine these. I like these fat tongue depressor type things because they mix really quickly. Okay, so you can see how thick this is. It is sitting on the side of the chunky peanut butter. It's exactly what it's like, chunky peanut butter. Perfect description. Put this back in here so I don't get spilt. All right, now I'm just going to take my brush and I'm going to start pouncing. I'm not using, this has been cleaned with vinegar and water. I don't have any alcohol. Normally I would use alcohol. I just prefer it, but I didn't have any. So I used a vinegar and water rinse on it. So there's no oils. You don't want oils on it. It's not going to be heavily used. It's going to be for decoration. So I'm not using Slick Stick. One says cures. It will be on here really well. I don't always use Slick Stick on my glass. It just depends on my mood, but I almost never use Slick Stick when I'm using sea spray. I will tell you that much. The sea spray seems to help it to stick really well. And so this is the consistency that we're getting on the top. Okay, so I wanted the gold to be a little chunkier than the Yankee Blue. Okay, I'm kind of doing it. I did this a little different than earlier. I did the blue before I did the bottom, but that's okay. Now I did do 2 coats earlier, so I'm going to let this sit just for a second while we do the blue, and then I might hit that with a hairdryer. It dries pretty quickly, so I'm not going to put this in the water just yet. I'm going to set it to the side. Now, I did use, I'm going to use a artist brush to do this, not this one. I ordered some new artist brushes because these are looking kind of funky. All right, now for the blue, do you see how it's a little bit, you can see it dangling there. This is not as chunky. Okay, I used more paint, less sea spray. And I'm just going to paint this on. I'm not worried about overlapping or anything because, like I said, I will be doing 2 coats. I'm going to show you, this does not, this is actually very creamy. But I wanted you to see it this way so that you could see that the sea spray doesn't always have to be really chunky. Okay, do you see how it's a lot creamier than the top? Okay, you have very much control over how thick you want this. Now I am putting this on thick, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute. I'm bringing it all the way up to the top. I'm overlapping this just a little bit so we don't have any kind of line there where I stopped and finished. And again, I'm doing this really thick because I am going to add some texture to this. I just don't want it to be chunky. I knew I was going to be adding a stencil to it, and it would be, as bad as I am at stenciling, it would be even harder if I did it on a very textured surface. Okay. I'm just making sure that all the glass is covered. I didn't do 2 coats of the blue earlier, I didn't have to. Stacy, this is a very heavy glass jar. You see the clear glass at the bottom? I've done a lot of the vases that you get from the florist, the heavier ones. I've done those. This one is special. This is really thick and heavy. It feels like a decanter, but it looks like a vase. It's just a clear glass. You can do it with any clear glass. You can do it on anything. It doesn't have to be clear glass. Any vase that you have. If you have a vase that you just don't like the color of it anymore, you can change the color of it. Okay, so I have my blue on there. I'm also going to keep this to the side just in case. Yeah, I did paint my couch. I love my painted couch. It turned out really well. Okay, so I'm going to take this chip brush. I'm going to dry it off as much as I can. I really need to get some more of these. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my chip brush and I'm just going to dab it. And because I put it on thick, I am getting texture. I'm getting more texture than if I just did the paint alone, because the paint is self-leveling. So if I did this, hi Cindy, if I did this with the paint, there's a good chance the paint would self-level and I wouldn't have any texture. So the sea spray gives the paint bulk and it keeps it from settling, because I do want some bumps, okay, because I'm going to dry brush some gold over the top of it. And so I want some peaks and valleys in order to do that. Okay, and there's some, I see some glass coming through, so I'm going to go a little bit thicker. That's why I kept this dry, just in case I needed more. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to add some here. And this is what I mean by not worrying about mistakes, guys, because I mean, this is going to stay wet for a while. I have working time. It's just paint, and I'm just filling in any spots where I got a little bit thinner, where I can see the glass coming through. I don't want to be able to see through the glass. And that's why I'm going to do a second coat on the gold. Okay. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm just going to stipple some more. I'm doing this lightly. I'm not pushing in really hard. I just want to add a little bit of interest to the paint. There's another spot right there I missed. I missed you guys last week. Where'd it go? I know I just saw some glass peeking through. Where is it? Okay. Oops, I got some fluff on there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to show you all this close up. I'm just going to overlap this a little bit. I've got a little bit of a line there, but it's not too bad. Maybe I'll put a gold stripe there or something. Okay. Hey, Debbie. Okay, so can y'all see the texture? It's not like this. You see how chunky that is? It's just very subtle. I'm going to dry it with a hair dryer. I've got a little place right there. Oops. Ah! I got fluff in there. Darn it. Trying to cover it up. Debbie, I've had family stuff. Oh man, I am batting a million right now. Let me get some more blue. I got some fluff in there. Cover that right up. There we go. Magic. And I'm going to show y'all how it maintains its peace. Okay, it's not 100% dry, but it's pretty dry. But do you see how there's still texture to it? Whereas if everything's fine, Debbie, you know, life, kids. Just, you know, sometimes when things get kind of hectic around here, it's hard for me to come on here. I don't know why. I know some people can do it, and I probably should work through it better than I do, but I try. I really do. But, and also I've been really busy with customs. That's the other thing that's kind of kept me busy. I'm just wiping off the fluff that I got on here because I'm going to do a second coat on the gold. I've had a couple customs, and I have 2 customers that I'm working with, giving estimates and stuff, and so that's taken up a lot of my time too. It really has. Okay. Customs are kind of a good bad thing. I'm going to stir this up just a little bit more. It's gotten kind of chunky since it's been out in the air. So I'm just going to smooth it out a little bit so I can get it on my brush. And y'all can see how thick that is? It's just sitting right on the... Yeah, Debbie, it is. It's a good thing. I have been very blessed. I don't have any wood around here. Ooh, there's some. On customs. I've heard nightmare stories about customs. But I've been very blessed. And so I have a customer. I finished... y'all saw the Savannah Mist piece that I did with the black wax. She was supposed to pick it up. No, oh, I need to tell y'all this, okay? This is when you do everything right and things go wrong, okay? I've been wanting to tell y'all this, and I should have come on here last week. Okay, so y'all saw me do the china cabinet and the buffet in the Savannah Mist with the black wax, and I did a video showing y'all how those 2 pieces were some of the very rare occasions that you would ever need slick stick and boss together, right? So on the wood parts of that video, those pieces of furniture, I used 2 coats of Boss because I knew it was probably going to bleed. All right, so 2 coats of Boss should have done it. On a normal piece, it would have been fine. Painted, so 2 coats of Boss, 2 coats of Savannah Mist, a coat of flat, and then my black wax, and then 2 coats of gator hide, right? So my customer, bless her heart, she had a death in the family, and so she couldn't come pick up the piece of furniture. Okay. And I was like, that's perfectly fine. It can sit in my garage. I covered it up with a drape so that it wouldn't get, anything on it, no dust or anything. And I told her not to worry about it, that whenever she could get to me, that was fine. So then a few days later, now I'm talking days later, guys. This was on a Wednesday that she had, that might have been part of the problem with not coming on live, was just all of the stuff going on. So, so she couldn't pick it up. That was on a Wednesday. So my friend came over, I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday of the next week. Let's see, what's today? Today's Monday. You know what it was? It was Wednesday that she came over, and that's why you guys didn't see me, because I had a freak out. I took her out into my garage to show her those pieces of furniture. She wanted to see them finished, right? So like, the great reveal, I whip off the canvas to show her, and there was bleed through on my piece of furniture. I'm not kidding. I took pictures of it. I'll post it. This is one of those situations where you've done everything according to the directions. You've done everything that you think you're supposed to do. And a week later, I had bleed through knots. The knots were not even visible on the finish. Okay, this was a Sears piece. It had like a factory finish to it. Didn't look like it. I mean, if I had seen knots, I probably would have done another coat of Boss over them, or maybe even some shellac. Knots are just very resistant to tannin blockers. So I pull off that drop cloth, and there's these nice, perfectly round knots on the top of this piece, which means I had to repaint the entire top because I used a wax, decorative finish on it. You can't just touch that up. It doesn't work. I had to paint the whole piece. So as she's leaving to go home, I said, oh, but look at the top of that buffet. It's over here. So I said, well, come look and see what you think about the way I painted the sides of it, because I had to kind of work the wax a little bit to make it look the same as the top. Pulled that drop cloth off, and I'm kidding you not, that was not a pun, but it came out as one. 2 perfectly dark knots on the side of that piece. You guys, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I was beside myself. And now that I'm thinking, no, that's one of the animals. See if there's any light coming through. Oh, it's the cat. It's not the animals, it's my husband. Get out of here. I was like, how'd they open that door? So this is what happened. Now that I'm remembering better, that's what happened. I had to repaint those 2 pieces. Guys, that is not something that you want to have to do. When you've been working on a piece for days and days, the last thing you want to do is repaint it. Okay, so now we've got 2 coats of the Gold Digger that I've done while I've been yakking. Okay, and this is dry, so I'm going to show you how I dry brush. I'm going to try and dry brush this. I don't have, let me see, do I have any natural brushes up there? I really don't. I have one. Hang on. I've got a little one up here that's still got wrapping on it. I'm going to try and use this one. It is getting really hot in here. This is just a cheap chip brush I have up there. Actually, it's got, I don't know what's got in there. It's got like glue or something on it, but it's never been opened. That's okay, it'll work. Okay, so I'm going to dry brush some of the metallic on here, okay? So we're going to get a little bit on there. I'm going to dab it off of here. I don't want too much on here, okay? Just a little bit, very little. And then I'm just going to dry brush this on here. I'm not really liking this brush too much, but that's okay. I don't know what made me choose these two colors. I'm going to run right over here into the front part so that we still have, so they kind of run together. Hey, Jackie. Yes. Well, the thing was, Debbie, I couldn't even see the knots. They didn't even show, the knots didn't, you couldn't see them. They were like under the factory finish. I'm telling you guys, it was the strangest thing. Okay. So the back of this looks a little bit different than the front, and this is what happens when you do a piece not all at the same time. But can you see how the gold lays on top of the blue because of the little peaks? The front, I think I got the front. It's crying time again. Yeah. So the front is a little bit chunkier than the back, and this is because I didn't do all of it at one time. Normally I would mix up enough and blah, blah, blah. But I kind of like the striations on here, though. What do y'all think of that? You can see the metallic. Okay. And then I have the stencil on the front. I might throw a stencil back here, but I'm going to have to wait for that to dry more because this stencil, this is another little stencil. I think I got these at the dollar store. It's just a little self-adhesive stencil. But, so I like these because they're real flexible and I can, oh wow, well, let's just do it. Why not? I use these little dollar store stencilers. It was a strange piece of furniture. Okay, so I'm gonna try and make this, let's see, that one's going that way. I guess I should make it go the same way, huh? Kind of want to make them line up a little bit. We'll do this really quick and then I'll let y'all go. I mean, y'all can go anytime you want to, but. Okay. So what I did was, because this is flexible, I'm starting at the bottom and then I'm just going to hold it down as I work my way up. And if Jason's still on here, this is probably not the best way to do a stencil, but it's the way I did it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my stencil brush into the paint. Dab some off. Dab some more. And pounce. Now for you guys that are pro stencilers, no judgments please. It is hot in here. I'm sorry guys, I am so hot. I know I complain about the heat. It's my age. It's God's little joke. He's like, yeah, you're old, so let's make you hot. As if you live in Florida and you're not hot enough. Jason's still here, so he gets to watch me stencil. Yikes. Okay, so then, you see, I'm coming to the top here. So I'm just going to kind of hold this down and pounce. I like these little, these are natural bristle brushes. I got these from the dollar store. I think it was a Dollar Tree for like 3 of them for $1, and they work great. I use them all the time. I don't just use them for stenciling. Okay, here we go. Yeah, do as Mama says. Here's the reveal. Ooh la la. So there we go. And let's see, did we get them even? Not bad. So there's the 2 of them. Not bad. I will probably keep this face here for staging. And then if I need a different color, I'll just paint over it. That's the nice thing about it. I got a little bit of the stuff coming off here, so I'm just gonna, because I grabbed it with my fingers. All right. So that is your lesson in sea spray today, guys. You guys need to get some of this. If nothing, if you use it for nothing more than hiding imperfections, okay, it's a great tool for this. Can you imagine this on in front of a drawer with the handles in front? Those work too good. Those work good also. Okay. The other thing is, I just thought of this. If you're doing hardware, you can use this on hardware too and give it texture. Also, it's beautiful in the patina paint. And y'all seen that many, many moons ago. I did one. So I'm getting a new website done. I'm almost finished with it. I had to get someone to build it for me, but I'm having to load all of my products onto it. I'm hoping, I actually hired my daughter to do it. So I'm actually hoping that it'll be done by the end of the week. And the great thing the main reason I did it was all of my videos are going to be on the website. So when I tell y'all I did a video on something, you don't have to scroll through my Facebook page to try and find it. It's all going to be, I've loaded it on YouTube, which I guess you can watch them there too. It's under my name, Mike Alikas. I didn't put it under my business name. I don't know why. I think it's because I already had one. But so I'm slowly loading. I've got maybe half of the videos that I've done on there because I have to save them to my computer, then load them up to YouTube. But the gentleman who did my website, he set it up so that anything I add to my YouTube automatically gets added to my website. So now and then I'm on the website, I'll categorize, they all have labels. So you can look at them and see where they are. Sherry says, how rough is that on your piece of wood? So it's not, it looks rougher than it, because I sanded it, it actually doesn't feel rough. That's what's kind of cool about it. So it has this beautiful texture, but it actually feels pretty smooth once I sanded it back, but you can see the texture, okay? But when you feel it, it's not smooth like this, but it's not rough. It's not going to like grab you or grab your clothes or anything like that. I'm digging it. I'm going to do this on my next piece. So we did this, and we got us some raised stencils over here. Okay. And we got our vase. So all this fun stuff that you can do. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I think on Wednesday evening, I have a piece of furniture that I'm going to be starting for a neighbor, hopefully custom, soon, but not yet. So I don't have any furniture that I'm painting right now. So probably on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing Scrabble tiles, and I have an idea. We're going to be using drills. I have an idea to make a hanging thing. So a little bit different than what I usually see. Yes, Sherry, that's what I was talking about earlier in the video, is where you have veneer issues, you can use it. You can actually use this on top of a dresser piece, as long as you are using a sanding method where you sanded it back a little bit to take off those peaks. You're still going to have texture, and it's going to hide so much stuff. Let's see. I was trying to think of it. I just did a piece. Oh, y'all, I didn't do it on camera because I painted it last week when I was having all those issues. Thank you, Dawn. Awesome, awesome. Welcome. I just did a piece last week. I just posted the pictures. It's caviar and fluff. I did a pouncing technique and kind of smooshed it all in. Y'all can check that out. Sherry, I also did that because the top of it it was a factory finish where they make these fake cuts and stuff. But one of the cuts, I think water might have gotten in there. It wasn't loose, but it had bubble. At some point, it had got moisture in there, and it dried, but it was raised. So I did this kind of a smooshing technique on top to hide it. I didn't do a video on it. Again, I'm really sorry about that. I should have. But if you have any questions about it, share. If you think it's something that you want to try, just private message me, and I can show you what I did. It was basically just pounce, 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 pounce. Pounce with 2 different colors. But the texture, I used the natural bristle brushes to do it. And so, and I did it dry. I didn't use any water at all on that whole piece. And so it gave it texture, and it was magnificent in hiding those imperfections. You know, you got to be able to hide imperfections because you can't fix every single thing, especially if you're going to flip a piece of furniture, because time is money. And if you have to fix too much on a piece, then, you know, if you're using your time as money, you can't be fixing every piece. Some pieces are worth repairing everything, but when you have a piece that's really not worth anything but you want it to be beautiful, there are ways to hide it. But does anybody have any questions before we jump off? I'm glad everybody's welcoming Dawn. That's sweet. You're gonna like it here. We have fun when I'm here. I am trying to be consistent. Wednesdays at 7. Wednesdays at 7. You guys know if I'm not here, I have a very good reason for it. Okay, I've been doing pretty good. Okay, you guys have a really nice evening. God bless, and thank you for joining me tonight. And I will see you in a couple days. Bye.